Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. For today's video, I am so excited because I'm finally doing my faux brick wall tutorial. I will be putting different steps up on the screen so it is easy to follow, which brings us to step 1, which is tape your wall. So I actually googled what a standard brick size is. It's a little over 7 inches by 3 inches. I did measure the first brick, but then as I started going on, I just eyeballed it. As you can see, Tyler is eyeballing it. And we just started taping. So it's actually pretty easy once you start doing it. You are just taping, in the form of how bricks would be laid. And then where this tape is going is actually going to be taken off later in the video. And then this is going to reveal the grout part of it. I would say you don't have to be too careful about getting each brick absolutely perfect, because later on, once we put the drywall on top, everything comes together. You're not going to see, these really straight uneven lines, whichever you get. Like, it's not going to be that big of a deal if it's not super straight, but for the most part, if you can get it, pretty much like this, you will be good. So the tools that I will be using to put the joint compound on the wall is this little smoothing tool. This will smooth it out. And then this is the joint compound that I picked up from Lowe's. It's like 20 bucks for this giant thing. Now, we ended up using about 5 buckets of this, but we do have a very large wall. Now moving on to step 2, apply the joint compound. So this part is actually really funny, you guys. You will see here in a minute Tyler's face. He just stares at this project. He's like, wait a second, what are we getting ourselves into? This is what he's doing. He literally, and I didn't know he was doing this until I looked at the camera footage, he just stares me down, not stares me down, but stares the wall down. He's like, wait a second. And then he just goes back to nodding his head and listening to his music. He's like, okay, I'm going to trust you, but I'm a little unsure about this. But really, you just go ahead and spread all of the joint compound all over the wall and cover the tape, cover everything. You can do it thick. I would say prefer on the thick side because you want that brick to really stand out. If you apply the joint compound too thin, then you won't really have that authentic brick look. So do it on the thicker side. Also, I would advise you guys to put a tarp down or something down that would catch the excess joint compound. As you can see, I'm totally making a mess and I'm literally just starting. So definitely put something down. Now, it didn't ruin our floors. We literally just wiped it up easy. But if you guys are going to attempt this project, definitely put something down. And then once you get past the initial scary part, what am I doing to my wall? I just got in there and really just smoothed everything out. That's also super important, is smoothing the bricks out. That way it looks more like authentic brick, but it's really easy once you get the hang of it, and then it goes pretty quickly. Okay, so it is the next morning. Here is a little update. This project definitely is a huge mess, so keep that in mind. As you can see, when we take the tape off, the drywall is everywhere, but this is how it is, so definitely keep this in mind. This is a huge thing that we came across. So we didn't finish the whole thing just because we ran out of tape, so we're waiting for the tape to come in just for this little section right here. But you guys, if you're gonna use this tape here, and I'm gonna show you. So basically our tape keeps breaking. So that's the only thing. I don't remember in the other videos that I've watched that the tape actually does break, but it is. So when we go to pull it off, it's coming off in little tiny sections. It's literally getting stuck underneath here. So we have to see, this is where it's ripped off. So we have to take a knife and kind of, you can see it just kind of keeps ripping. So if you're gonna do this project, see, still gotta take some here. I would definitely advise you to do it when it's half wet, because I thought we were supposed to do this when it was completely dry. That's the videos that I've watched. I don't know what we did differently. Maybe we did it thicker, but the tape keeps ripping. But it's looking amazing. Just keep that in mind. But this is how it's looking so far. Obviously, we made a little bit of progress. We still need to put all of the joint compound on this tape, finish taping this off. So yesterday, Tyler and I actually took off about this section right here when it was damp and it was coming off super easily. And we're like, no, we can't do this. We gotta wait until it's dry. And then obviously this is when we started doing it when it was dry and it just is cracking. So basically right here, you can see this is when we took it off dry. Now I don't mind, you can see like where we jabbed the wall with the knife to find like the blue tape. I don't mind this look. It looks more like authentic brick to me, so it's not bothering me. But if you don't want a big problem like we came across, like I said, just try to take off the tape when it's damp. Hi guys, okay, so it is a couple days later after we started this project. I just wanted to give you an update about how it's going. I hope this video is going to be very cohesive and seems like it's, you know, put together well. It's sometimes hard when you're doing like such a big project. You have 2 little kiddos running around and things sometimes don't get done in one day. Tatum girl is laying in her crib. She woke up from a very short nap, so I was only able to get a little bit done for this wall, but I am excited because we did run out of tape, like I said before, and we just got the tape in from Amazon. This is the one that it's upside down. This is the one that we, just kidding, it's upside down again. There we go. This is the one that we are using. It is 3/8 of an inch, so it is relatively thin, but that's what I wanted for the grout. I didn't want super thick grout, so I did want to give you an update. I still need to go. Actually, I'm going to take Tatum girl to Lowe's right now because we need to get more joint compound, and then the tape just came in so we can continue the project. I did do a little bit of painting on the bricks that were done and dry and ready, so I will show you that. So far, I'm honestly loving it, and I will, that's what I need to show you guys is the paint colors. So I bought a bunch of paint from Walmart. I just walked into Walmart and I found little tiny tubs of paint. Now I might need more because I didn't realize how big this wall is, but I did start painting some of the bricks, so I will show you guys what I have so far. Okay, so I may be readjusting the brightness for this scene just because I have this huge light coming in over here, and if I shine on it, my camera doesn't know how to adjust. But this is what I have so far. So this is the brick that I started painting. All of this is done and ready to go, and I'm excited. Like, I'm so excited to see how it turned out. Honestly, my favorite part so far is this right here. It is so cool. I tried to accentuate the arch. I've seen it where people have done this before with brick and they have an arch and the bricks go up. I think it is so cool. Obviously you can only see half of it, but I'm waiting to tear this down just so we can finish it. Now I was able to get a little bit done. So I don't know if you can tell right here, I got a little bit done. It's still wet. Now, like I had said previously in the other clip, that I need to take it down when it's damp. So I'm probably gonna do that now before we leave for Lowe's to get more joint compound. This is the joint compound that I just ran out of. So that is what I used for up there. And also what I initially was doing in the scenes before this is I was using this little spatula, whatever, spreader tool, whatever you call it. I was using that to take out the joint compound and spread it on the wall, but honestly that felt a little tedious. I literally just got in there with my hands and took out giant wads of joint compound. Like literally I just took my hand like that and just spread it with my fingers, and then I would go back with this little tool and then I would just kind of straighten it out. I would just kind of spread it out and make it look a little bit less like my fingers did it, more like, you know, it was smoother. Like I said, it was just super tedious to use that tool, so I just got dirty and I got my hands in there and it was so much better and so much quicker. Now, obviously the next step is removing the tape. So once you have all of the joint compound on the wall, this is when you remove the tape, and I cannot stress it enough, you guys, remove the tape when the joint compound is damp. The only reason why I'm using a knife here is because, like I said in the other clip, we let the joint compound dry too much in one area, so I have to pick out all of the tape pieces. And then this is what I've done so far. So literally all I did was just take a little tiny paintbrush and start painting in these bricks. Now it's not going to stay this way, and I did choose darker colors because once I whitewash it, it's going to be very faint. But I just went with like a medium brown. This is like a beige. This is called like, I can't remember. It's like a tan color and then a gray color. I just wanted very, very neutral. I love the dark red brick, like the very traditional brick once it's whitewashed, but I felt like in my house with my floors and all of that, just red, if you hear slurping, Tatum is slurping applesauce. But I didn't really want the whole traditional red brick because I don't feel like it would go well in my house, so I just went with these pretty neutral colors, and I think it's gonna be really pretty. So these are the paint colors that I used. I literally just walked into Walmart and grabbed a couple colors that I liked. You can pick these up in the craft section. I got Country Gray, Warm Buff, Beachcomber Beige, and another one which is like a brown color. You'll see it here in a second. It is Territorial Beige, so it's actually pretty dark, but I chose these colors because I really wanted something very neutral. And then here you can see we're done with the joint compound, and I actually did go ahead and whitewash the bricks to the right. I'll show you here in a second, but the taping is done. The joint compound is done and we are ready to paint. So this is what the brick looks like when it is whitewashed, and I love it, you guys. It's so pretty. Now, in case you guys are wondering why the grout looks pretty white in this scene, I actually did go through and paint all of the grout white because our existing wall was actually pretty gray. You don't need to do this. I actually did not add that step in because it was totally unnecessary. All you need to do is just paint the color and then whitewash. You don't need to do anything with the grout because once we go back and put the joint compound on, you're not even going to see your existing grout color. So if you're seeing the white grout color, you don't need to worry about making yours white. It'll change once you do the joint compound, which is in the last step. But this is what we have so far, just painting every little brick, which takes us to step 4, paint the bricks. So I actually completely did them random. I would paint one brown, one gray, one beige. I would put 2 beige together, 2 gray together. Like there was no rhyme or reason how or why I painted the bricks. I just eyeballed it and did it completely random. So again, here you don't have to be perfect when you are painting these bricks. Just the idea of painting those rectangles, basically the color. Sometimes I'd mix the colors together. That's the one thing about this project is it is very forgiving. You don't have to do everything perfect. I sometimes wouldn't completely fill in the brick. Sometimes I would get it on the grout. Once we go through and we add the final step, which is the joint compound, nothing is going to really matter as long as you have the idea of having those bricks painted. So I love this project. I love how forgiving it is. You don't have to be perfect. Now moving on to step 5, which is whitewash. So as you can see, all of it is done on that wall, but we actually are going to move over to this wall because this is all whitewashed. So I actually did not show you guys me whitewashing it. I was just kind of like on this like kick of let's get this done because it was taking way too long. But basically all you do is you do about a tablespoon of baking soda, some white chalk paint, and a little bit of water. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact measurements for it. You just kind of eyeball it. I would say about a tablespoon of baking soda, a cup of white chalk paint, and a 1/4 cup of water. You just kind of get the consistency that's a little more liquidy, and you just kind of spread it on with a rag, and that is how you whitewash it. So to the left, it is done. That is the completed look. To the right, it is just whitewashed. So like I said, to whitewash, I had to use a rag and just wipe on that paste of the white chalk paint, the baking soda, and the water. Now, just so you know, we did ruin a lot of rags. So make sure you're doing a rag or dish towel or whatever that you do not care about, because once you're dipping in that chalk paint stuff, wiping it over the bricks, you are going to kind of tear your rags up. So just keep that in mind. So now moving on to the final step, which is adding more joint compound. And I'm actually just taking this little Amazon gift card. I really didn't need it. It was empty, but you just need a little credit card, little tiny card like this that can hold up a lot of scraping. So moving on to the final step, step 6, joint compound. So this is the part where I was talking about, the final step where you don't really need everything to be perfect. So all I'm doing here is I'm dipping that credit card into the joint compound and really focusing on spreading it into the grout line. So this is kind of about how much I take, not a whole lot, and then I slowed it down for you guys so you can get a really good idea of what I'm doing. I'm just taking it and focusing on the grout lines, spreading it over. Now I do focus on the grout lines as well as kind of bringing it down through the bricks. You don't want to cover up too much of the brick, obviously, because then you won't see the color of it. But this kind of brings us back to the idea of when I was saying you don't need to make it straight once you put the joint compound on top of it. And actually, it's funny because once I put it on now, it's very faint. And then once it dries very, very white. So it looks really cool. As you can see the comparison from the left side, which is done, and then the right side, it's not quite dry yet. But once, you give it a couple hours, it does dry very, very white. But don't go too much over the brick. Just focus on the grout lines. And like I said, this brings us back to the idea of also when I said you don't need to worry about your grout color, because once you go over it with this joint compound, it is going to be very, very white. So when I did do the step of painting the grout lines, I wasn't sure, just because I know I didn't want the gray to come through on the grout. I really wanted that authentic white grout, but that's how it is, you guys. When you're doing projects, you kind of learn as you go, and I did a step that was unnecessary, and it's okay. So I've actually watched a couple tutorials on how to do a faux brick wall on YouTube, but never one that had that like German schmear. I always feel like I'm saying that word wrong. German schmear, however you say it. Never one that had that, look to it. So that's what I really liked. I really liked the old world, rustic, imperfect brick that looked kind of aged and old. So I was a little nervous to, film this video and do this part because I really didn't know how it was going to turn out, because I've never done it before. I've never watched anything on how to do this. So I really, really love how it came out, you guys, and I'm so excited to share with you. Alright everyone, so that is it for this video. Here is the completed look. You guys, I am so obsessed with how it came out. I did a lot more of the wall than I was wanting, but I think it paid off. Definitely kind of bringing it around this corner and underneath the art, and I love it, you guys. This is it. This is how it turned out, and I hope you guys love it too. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to attempt this project. Let me know if you have any questions too, because I definitely will answer all the questions for you guys. I know it is a huge project. It's a little, scary trying to like get into it, doing this to your wall, but ultimately I love how it turned out. I could not be more happy. I love the colors that I chose. It matches my flooring. It matches everything. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.